Thank you so much for making Locked On Canes your first listen today. And for the everydayers, if you want to take that everydayer experience to the next level, become a show VIP by signing up for our exclusive SMS texting community through Subtext. I include a link in the show description below. You get text messages directly from my phone to your phone with recruiting scoops, inside stories, practice updates, breaking news, one-on-ones. You can ask me questions on there, and you can try it completely free for 14 days. Click the link in the show description below. And then if you like it, after 2 weeks, you can opt in for $4.99 a month. We give you a lot of extra added value on there. Speaking of added value, the inaugural edition of this season, the Week 1 Stock Report. Now, since Miami hasn't played a game yet, we're not really selling on anyone, but we'll tell you who we're buying stock in, who we're holding or hodling. Hodl stands for hold on for dear life. And, we try to get creative with these. This is not like the most obvious, ridiculous stock tips that you'll get from your Uncle Louie down the block. Like, kid, come here. Come here. I got a hot stock tip for you. There's this company. You might want to think about buying Amazon. They used to sell only books, but now they sell everything. You need to buy Amazon. We try not to be so obvious with these, but Week 1, Miami Hurricane stock report. I am buying stock in a couple defensive players. KJ Cloyd, the transfer linebacker from Louisville, and Daryl Porter, who's now in his second year at defensive back in Miami, former West Virginia guy. Cloyd, we'll find out for sure on Friday, but KJ Cloyd might have, in fact, won the Week 1 Will linebacker starting job. He's been competing really nicely with West Bain in practice. That's been a good competition, and I think he might start, but even if he doesn't, KJ Cloyd is going to play a lot. He's having a really good fall camp. And then with Daryl Porter at cornerback, I'm buying low on Porter since most people have been talking about Damari Brown, the true freshman who's gotten some works with the ones more than they're talking about Porter. But that's been a really good battle there, and I would not be surprised if Daryl Porter ends up getting the first start because of his experience level, and he's had a really good fall camp. I don't think enough people are talking about Daryl Porter, so it would not surprise me if Porter is the guy who starts opposite of Devontae Brown, who obviously should have been buying stock in Devontae Brown a long time ago. I am loading up this week. This is a big buy here. I am loading up on defensive line stock for Miami of Florida because one area where Miami of Ohio lost players from their starting lineup last year is at the offensive line. And even their O-line last year wasn't great. They gave up 38 sacks a season ago. And not to mention the extra motivation and bulletin board material from their quarterback, Brett Gabbert, who's out there saying that the real Miami is in Oxford, Ohio. So if Miami's defensive front needed any extra motivation, they got it. I'm looking at buy stock in everybody from Akheem Mesidor, Rueben Hurricane Bain, Nigel Kelly, Leonard Taylor, Jafari Harvey on down. Would not surprise me if the Hurricanes going up against a team that's been talking a little trash, not the best O-line in the country. I think the Hurricanes could end up with 5 or 6 sacks on Friday. You heard it here first. So I'm loading up on the defensive line. I'm also loading up stock on a couple of Miami's running backs. Ajay Allen and Mark Fletcher. Allen, the transfer out of Nebraska. Fletcher, the true freshman out of American Heritage. These young running backs are ready to contribute big time in the rotation. I'm not 100% sure if Ajay Allen is going to start. He might. It's either him or Henry Parrish, but no matter how much, you already had Miami's offensive coordinator admitting to us on Monday that they've got so many backs who are playing well. It's going to be a running back by committee. So these guys are all going to get playing time. Parrish and Don Chaney included. Probably Chris Johnson will get some burn as well. But the guys who have really stood out to me in fall practice are Ajay Allen and Mark Fletcher. Fletcher's going to play a lot as well, and I think Fletcher's going to score a lot of touchdowns this year because he's going to get a lot of work inside the red zone and at the goal line. So I'm loading up on Ajay Allen and Mark Fletcher. I'm going to wait. Here's a couple I'm not buying yet, okay? Because I mentioned I'm not really selling anything because we haven't played a game yet, but there are a couple of areas where I'm not going to think about buying until proven otherwise. I've got to see something. So I'm going to wait to buy stock in Miami's run defense. That was a problematic area last year. We're getting some signs of encouragement there, but I need to see how that actually looks before I buy. You go up against Miami, Ohio. Their leading rusher, Keon Mose from last year, is back this year. And their quarterback, Gabbert, can run from the quarterback position. So I'm going to wait and see how Miami's running defense looks. Even though I think it's going to be better than last year, we'll see. Here's a stock that I'm holding or holding on for dear life, because I was already buying this one months ago. I am holding my Tyler Van Dyke stock. Maybe I'll buy a little bit more this week, because honestly, the moment that Shannon Dawson was hired was the moment we started buying TVD shares, because I think this is an offense that's going to suit him really well. We know how much better the offensive line has gotten, the running back rotation we were just talking about. They've added some wide receivers. So I've already bought a lot of Tyler Van Dyke stock this offseason. I'm just going to be holding it for this week, okay? And here's, the last area where I'm definitely buying stock, and this is more of a characteristic than it is an actual human being, but I am buying stock in Yak. Yards after catch. Yards after catch is one of the foundations of the air raid passing scheme. That's something Shannon Dawson expects these guys to accomplish, getting open in space with a lot of real estate to run into. Miami has one of the fastest receivers in the country in Tyler Harrell. And then you've got guys like Jacoby George, Xavier Restrepo, and Shamar Kirk, who all have solid shiftiness and quickness to earn extra yards in space. Ray Joseph as well. Ray is really hard to tackle, and I think you're going to see some looks where Miami's got 4 wide receivers or 5 wide on the field, and Ray Joseph is going to get on the field some. The true freshman out of Miami Edison, he's going to make some plays. So I am buying stock in yards after catch. Now, heading into this opening game, we all know the 2 most important things. Win the game by any means necessary and try to get out of this one injury-free. That's our hope and our prayer heading into every single game this football season. But that is the week 1 stock report. Maybe week 2 we'll decide anybody we're selling, anybody else we're loading up on big. Huge thank you to Don Bailey Jr. for joining us, and huge thank you to all of you guys. Thank you so much for making Locked On Canes your first listen. Make sure if you're watching us on YouTube, you smash that like button. You hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel. If you listen to the audio version, make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Odyssey app, wherever you get your pods, and leave us a 5-star review and a 5-star rating. And we will talk to you guys again next time on another episode of Locked On Canes, part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.